So today what I'm going to do is explain how to use this particular editing platform to make videos for this class. So the platform itself can be as complicated or as simple as you want it to be. I'm going to be using a very simple version of making a video today, but you are welcome to play around with that and to complicate it as much as you want. But I'm just going to go over kind of the simple version for those of you that have never done this before. And then, yeah, as you learn and get more comfortable with it for future videos, maybe you want to play around a little bit more. But I will kind of be showing you the simple way today. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to download this particular editing program. Now, as I've always said, if you have video editing experience and you have a particular program you like to use, by all means, use that program. I'm not going to stop you. This is for those students who have never done this before and really just want a free way to complete their assignments and to not be, overwhelmed with all the different options. So this is the one that I recommend. I had a couple students beta test it and they said that it works pretty well. So this should work for most of you. Now, for me, I have a Mac, and so I downloaded the Mac version. There's also a PC version that you can download. There's also a version that you can download on your phone or on a tablet. So those are kind of the four options to use this program. If none of those options work for whatever reason, maybe you have a Chromebook and you don't have a smartphone or something like that, feel free to reach out to me and we can figure out an alternative. But I figure for most of you, between the Mac version, the PC version, the tablet version, and the phone version, you should be pretty okay. But of course, if that doesn't work, reach out to me, we'll figure out something else. So once you've downloaded the program, it's going to look something like this. And so I'm going to go over exactly how to use everything here. I know this looks really complicated. I promise we're going to really simplify it. But I just wanted to make sure that everyone kind of knows what it should look like. If you have the tablet or the phone version, it might look a little bit different, but that's okay. It should still have all the same buttons and options and all that stuff. So you might just have to kind of learn how yours works. But I'm going to be talking about the PC and the Mac version in this video. Okay, so you have the program downloaded. Now let's look at the assignment that we're going to be working on. So this is the 5 Facts About Me video. And so if you go down here to the video assignment, this is what you're going to be using to figure out exactly what we need to do here. So I'm going to quickly go over the assignment and then kind of explain how we're going to turn this into a video. So first we have the video requirement. So you're going to need a title card where you introduce yourself and provide some general information. This can be your age, how long you've been at school, your major. You don't need to provide any particular information if you don't want to share it. Just fill it in with something else that you are comfortable sharing. Two, next, you're going to tell me your full name, or again, as much as you're comfortable with. And so you're going to have your full name, and then you're going to explain where does it come from, what's the meaning, were you named after anyone, what does the name mean to you personally, and just any other information about your name. If you're someone that just got named and you don't really know the meaning behind it, that's okay too. Again, we're just kind of learning a little bit about you, so if some of these don't work exactly, that's okay. Next is your 5 facts. So this is where you're going to be having, 5 different slides where you explain a fact about yourself and give me a little bit of background information about that. And then finally, you're going to have a conclusion where you end with one word that you would use to describe yourself. You can be serious about this. You can, be funny about this. It, again, doesn't matter. It's just about kind of getting to know you. So if you're someone that, doesn't like to take anything seriously, that's okay. Put that in your video. Okay, so those are the general requirements. As you can see, this isn't a very complex assignment. The goal is to just get you comfortable making videos. So please do not stress if, it's not perfect. Okay, so, and then make sure to include, and then it kind of gives you some parameters. So we want images, we want words, and we want voice description or narration throughout your video. So we don't just want the images without any voice description. We don't just want voice without any words and images. We need all three. At least one of the 5 facts should be about something that you did in your past that was important to you. It can be good or bad. At least one of the 5 facts should be about something you're looking forward to in the future. So this could be anything. It could be a trip. It could be school related. It could be work related, whatever. Family related. And then the rest can be any interesting facts about you. Okay, so those are the parameters of the assignment. So the easiest way to break down an assignment like this, especially for those of you that have never made a video before, is we're going to break it up into kind of different slides, basically. And those slides, we can then have like an image, and we can have text, and we can have narration, but it's a good way of kind of breaking it up into parts. So that being said, we're going to end up with one slide for the title. We need one slide for your name. We need 5 slides for the 5 facts. So that's 7 slides. And then the conclusion, so 8 slides. So that's what we're going to be focusing on for this video. If you are someone with a video editing experience and you want to go beyond that, by all means, go do that. But I'm talking to the people that don't know what they're doing and just want a little bit of help. So that's what I would recommend. So we're going to do 5 slides and then add text, visuals, and narration on top of those. So let's talk about how to do that. Coming back to the editing program, now we're going to start with these 5 slides. So for these videos, we're going to have kind of layers of things. So we have the visual layer, we have the text layer, and we have the narration layer, and possibly a music layer. I know that sounds like a lot. I'll explain. I promise it's not that difficult. Okay, so the first layer let's do is the visual layer, the background, the images. So we're going to choose 8 images for our 8 slides. So what we can do is if we go up to, now you can always just get images from the internet or from like your personal photos. That's totally fine. So if that's what you want to do, you're just going to go to Google. You're going to find images that you like. You're going to save them on your computer or on your phone, and then you're going to use those. I'm going to be going the easier route here, and we're going to go with stock media. Okay. So first of all, for our like introduction kind of title slide, we kind of want to keep it pretty simple, right? Because we're just going to be like introducing the video. So we could either do like a solid color background. We could do like a gradient color when they pop up. There we go. Beautiful. And then basically any of these. Let's see, they have intro ones. That's pretty cool. I think these ones with the diamonds are paid, so we're not going to use those. But anything that just has a download button totally works. I think a lot of these are like countdowns, which we don't really need. These are motion graphics, so they're going to kind of move around. And yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff you can look at. And then you can also, if you're looking for a particular image, use these, which we will do that in a second. But for the sake of this first slide, we're going to go really simple. Okay, I'm just going to choose a random color. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to drag that into the beginning of our timeline. Cool. Okay, so that is going to be our first slide. So we are going to kind of end up playing around with this a little bit more, but for now we're just going to leave that there. Okay, so slide 1 is our title. Slide 2 is going to be our like full name, where you talk about like where your name came from. So you could totally just do another background color for this one, because again, the text is going to want to be like the focal point here. I'm going to do our gradient color. I'm going to mix it up. Okay. So I want to choose one that's going to be easy for text to show up, although I will show you ways of, if you have like a more intricate background, how to make sure your text shows up. But that's what, okay, so I have slide 1. That's going to be my title. I have slide 2 that's going to be my name. And then I need my 5 facts about me slides. So this is where you kind of want to get into some images possibly. So depending on what your facts are, you can, incorporate images into those. And they don't need to be personal images. They can be just stuff from the internet. But it does just kind of make it a little bit more elaborate and interactive to have images rather than just kind of flat colors. And that's kind of what we're practicing here. Okay, so let's use some of these. It looks like you can search. Okay, so usually for my first fact, I talk about my cat because that's me. Okay, let's see if we can get a cat image. Oh, so many cat images. Okay, can I be more specific? I have a Siamese cat. Siamese cat. Okay, so glad that didn't go badly. Okay, let's go, yeah, we'll go here. That looks like my cat. Okay, so that, I don't know what's going on. It just asked me to download. Okay, so that's going to be my third slide. What do we want? Let's match to media. Okay. Okay, so that's going to be our little cat slide. Oh, is it a video? That makes sense. Okay, actually, I'm going to not do a video because that seems way too complicated. Oh, photo. See, we're learning. Okay, so I'm going to do a photo of a cat rather than a video. You are allowed to use videos if you want. I just find they're a little bit more complex to use, so we're going to keep it simple today because that's the whole point of this. We're keeping it simple. Okay, so we have title, we have name, we have fact number 1, and then fact number 2, again, you're just going to be choosing things that have to do with whatever your facts are. So I'm going to do fact number 2. I am Canadian. Cool. Okay, I'll use that one. Oops. And if it doesn't line up, you can always kind of move it around. Actually, we're going to. Also, you can do the undo function if it does something funky like mine did for some reason. There we go. Okay, put you back. Okay, so we have 2 facts here. And then I won't do the full thing because I don't want you guys to have to watch me make an entire video, but you kind of get the deal, right? So I would add 3 more facts, and then I would have my final slide where I have like the one word that would use to describe me. And for that one, I would probably, sorry. For that one, I would probably just do like another sort of background color, gradient, solid color, something like that. Okay. But well, let's just work with what I have here because I think you kind of get the point. Okay, so we have my 4 slides. You're going to end up with 8 slides. So once we have the images down, then the next thing we're going to do is our text. So if we go back to slide 1, she's over here. I'm going to click her. Okay. So it's going to give us a bunch of options for, changing up how it looks. Again, really complicated. We're not going to deal with that. So we're just going to go, okay. Perfect. And then we are going to go to titles. And you have a couple options here for text. So I kind of like this because you can go very simple, something like this. You could do like a fun little, this is like a neon text, which would be kind of fun. If you have a complicated background, which like for my cat one or my Canadian one is kind of the case, you can use ones like this that kind of write it on a like blank background. And I find those are really helpful for more complex backgrounds, which I will use those when we get to these ones. But for my like simple color here, I can really use whatever I want. So I'm going to use this neon one. I think that's kind of cool. So we are going to drag that and we're going to click it right on top of the background that we want to use. So you saw, here, I'll go do it again. You're going to click on whatever one you want to use. You're going to drag and you're going to stick it on top of this. So this is the one I want. So you can see that it's now connected together. And then if I want to change the text, I'm going to click down here on the text, double click, and then you can change the text. So I'm going to do this 5 facts about me. And that's gigantic. So we're definitely going to shrink that down. So here is where you're going to have the font size, and we're just going to make it fit. So perfect. I don't even know what font that was, 100, I guess. But I would just go until it fits and then choose that one. Okay, so that is going to be my title. Great, looks good, looks cool. Now we're going to go to our next one. So this is going to be, again, just go okay. Don't worry about playing with that. Our next one, I'm going to click okay, see my background. I'm going to click on okay. Okay, so we want a text on this one as well. So again, it's a pretty simple background. We can really choose whatever. So here I'm going to be writing my full name. So maybe we could try this one. That's kind of cool. It's like handwriting. Okay, let's see how this looks. I'm gonna, again, stick it on top of the correct one. You do want to make sure that you're putting them in the correct place, otherwise it won't match correctly. So we have the first text on top of our first and the second text on top of here. Okay, and then we're gonna click on this. Perfect. So yeah, I double clicked, then this popped up, and then I just get to change what I want the text to be. So this is gonna be my first, Mary Teresa Silky. I don't think I capitalized the T. Accept. Okay. Okay, so this is my full name. So here I will obviously on the narration kind of talk a little bit more about that, but for the text wise, I can keep it pretty simple. Okay, so far we have our title, we have our name, and then we're going to go into fact number 1. So let's go to the cat, and then we're going to click OK, and let's add a text. So for this one, because we got kind of a complex background, we are limited in which of these are going to work well, because if I use something like this, let me, oh, I did drag and drop. Okay, here we go. If I use something like that, you can see it for sure, but it's gonna start kind of blending with the background, especially with like the light color and the light background. We don't really want that. So I'm gonna get rid of that. And instead, I'm going to use this one. I've used this one for a couple other videos and I was like testing it out, and I actually think it looks pretty good. But there are a bunch of other ones as well that you can use that have kind of that built-in background so that the text doesn't get lost. So feel free to go through, like this one's a big one, which will mostly cover up your image, so we don't really want that. But this is another good one here that's like this little kind of purple banner. But yeah, there's just a couple ones. So look into it, try things, see what works. Again, I want you to kind of play around with this. You're not going to get marked down because it's not exactly how I would have done it. Okay, so I'm going to try this one. Dragging is not good today. Okay, here we go. Okay, so once again, I'm just going to double click on that text so I can change the image. And I'm going to go fact number 1. And new line, and then I have a cat named Emerson. Okay, again, we're taking up a lot of space. I'm going to center this actually, and then I'm going to shrink it. Perfect. Okay, cool. And obviously you can move the text box around as well. You can make the text box a different size, but yeah, you can kind of see how this works. Okay, so I have my first fact, and then let's just do our second fact real fast. So Canada, click OK. We're going to click, I'm going to use the same one actually, because again, I have kind of a complex background and I don't want the text to get lost. So we're going to click on that. We're going to go fact number 2. Then I am Canadian. Cool. And we're just going to center that again. And here too, you can play around with the size, obviously the centering, if you want it to be bold, if you want it to be italicized, all that stuff. So I know I'm going through it kind of fast, not showing you all the options, but I figure you're going to kind of look through these options as you need them. Okay. And yeah, that works. I feel like that works well. Okay. So that is our 2 layers. So for each of these, we have a image layer and we have a text layer. So the next thing we're going to do is add our narration. So for each of these, you're going to record narration. And so the nice thing about doing images over video for your background is that you can record for as long or as short as you want, and then you're just going to move the background and the text to fit what you've said. So let me show you kind of what I mean by that. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is move this little buddy, this little red guy. You can kind of see here. So move him to where you want to start recording the narration. So for me, I'm going to be recording narration for this first slide here. Okay, and then what we're going to do is come over here to record voiceover. So right underneath kind of the preview window, if you go down, you can see like a microphone, and then it says record voiceover. It also gives you like a shortcut, but we'll just click on it. So if you click on record voiceover, then you want to make sure that it's recording from the device that you want to. So I'm wearing headphones right now, so it's recording from those headphones, but I could also just do it from my MacBook microphone. Anything's totally fine. Okay, and then we're going to, I actually don't know what mute project means. It doesn't seem to matter, so it's automatically checked. I'm just going to keep that checked. Okay, so in order to record, do not click OK. I've made this mistake a lot of times, and then it just shuts down and it doesn't record. To record, you're going to click on the record button. Maybe that's obvious to everyone else. It was not obvious to me. So we're going to, if I click on it, it's going to start counting down, and then I'm going to record. So okay, it's counting down, and then I'm going to record. This is my 5 facts about me video. Okay, So that was it. That was just my title. So once I'm done that, I'm going to click OK, and you're going to see it's going to disappear. Now, I basically talked for the exact amount of time that it was already giving me, so I don't have to do much in terms of moving things around, but I'll kind of show you what it's going to look like if I don't do that. Okay, so for this one, I'm actually not going to edit this at all. I'm just going to leave it. And then we're going to go to the next slide here. We're going to move this guy over to the beginning of this slide so that it starts recording there. Now, if you forget to do this and record and it ends up in the wrong place, you can move it around, but I'm just kind of saving myself a step there. Okay, so beginning of slide 2. So for this one, I'm going to be talking about my name. So I'm going to go back to record. Again, make sure it's all looking good, and then click record. Wait for it to count down. My full name is Mary Teresa Zilke. My first name was from my grandmother, and my middle name is from my godmother, and I was given to that from my parents. Okay, so you can see here that my narration went over the allocated time for this slide. So luckily, because it's a static image, it's not changing, we're just going to make this image longer. So what we're going to do is go to the edge of the image, and oh, that's the wrong one. See, not good at this. We're going to push it all the way to the end of the slide. And it's pretty good at automatically kind of taking you there. And then we're going to do the same thing with the text, because obviously we want the image and the text to be together. Okay, so you can kind of see how that works. So don't worry about trying to narrate or record a certain amount of time. We're just going to extend our background and our text to go with it. Okay, so let's do this again with our next one. Oops. Okay. So again, we're going to move our little slidey person to the beginning of the slide that we want to record. So this is going to be my first fact. So let's do that. Okay, and then we're going to hit record. Hit record. Fact number 1 is that I have a cat named Emerson. I adopted him from a shelter about 8 years ago, and he's my best friend. Okay, we're going to end that. Press OK, and we're going to do the exact same thing. So whatever that image was that we want to have for the entire narration, we're just going to move her here. Okay, and same thing with our text, just move it over. And then we have our final slide, and we're going to do the same thing. I won't record this one because, again, I know this is getting kind of long. You get the point. So I would do the same thing. I'm going to do the narration and then just extend it to fit. Okay, so the last thing we want to do is have some sort of kind of like background music. And this does help as you're going through because, yeah, it just kind of helps everything to kind of go together. So for our background, we're going to go to audio. And they have lots of different audio things you can choose. These are all free to use. I'm sure there are ones that you have to pay for, but none of these are, you have to pay for them. So we can just choose whatever we want. So I would just kind of listen to ones, see if they work. Oh, I can download it first. Okay. So what I would do is just, yeah, choose ones that I like. Do I have any that I already downloaded? I don't think I did. Okay. I don't know what this one is, but I'm just going to kind of show you how I would do it if I am going to download. Okay. So I downloaded it. And then what we're going to do is drag and drop here to the bottom. There we go. And so that's going to add another layer. So the thing with these kind of background is that you're going to want to listen through and make sure that what you've recorded for narration is louder than the background music. If it's not, then it's really easy to go down to this, and you're going to basically drag it down, and it's going to bring down that music. So these ones you kind of want to keep, as they're originally recorded because you want them to stand out. But for any of the background music, by all means, make it a louder or quieter depending on what kind of sounds good to you. Okay, so once you have all of this, then what you can do is go through and watch the video. So you go to the preview screen here, you click on play. It's playing it to the end. Okay, we'll go to the beginning and then click on play. Okay, so it's playing. So right now it actually sounds pretty good. My narration is loud enough that it is kind of the focal point of what you're hearing. And then we have like a little bit of background music, but that's definitely secondary. So I would actually leave it as is. But if my background music was too loud, I could make it quieter by bringing this down a little bit more. And if it was too quiet, I could make it louder. So that's really it. Once you've done all that, you have these 4 layers, you are good to go. And once you've, done everything, this would be ready to turn in, obviously assuming that you finished the rest of your slides. So once you've watched it through, it looks good, everything looks good, you don't need to edit anything or move anything around, then you can export it. So you're going to go to export here. And there's a couple different options which I really appreciate. If you have a YouTube account already, it makes it really easy to just upload it to your YouTube account. So that's definitely something that I've used. So for me, it just has you sign into whatever YouTube account you want to upload it to. And then you can always make it unlisted, which means that I can see it if you give me the link or if you embed it, but no one else can. Like people can't just randomly find it. So if you want to go the YouTube route, I highly recommend it and just put it as unlisted and no one else will be able to see it except for me or the other students if you post it on like a discussion board or something. The other option you have for exporting if you don't want to use YouTube is to go over to local where it says here. And this is going to download it on your computer or your tablet or phone or whatever. So you want to make sure that the format is MP4. I know that format works well with Canvas. I don't know about these other ones. So by all means, if you want to look into it and find another format, that's fine. But if you want guaranteed it's going to work, MP4 is the way to go. And then, yeah, everything else should be whatever. And then you're just going to export that. It's going to download it to your computer. And then I will show you how to submit it. Once you're ready to submit your video, then you're going to go back to the assignment. You're going to open reply. So this is going to be for a discussion board. If this was just a regular assignment, you would just click on the submit assignment and you'd have all the same options. Okay, so you have 2 options depending on how you downloaded your video or exported your video. So if you just exported an MP4 file, which is what I recommended, then you're going to go to here, upload record media. Don't switch it to HTML or anything like that. You're just going to go straight to upload record media. Then you're going to go, what's going to look like this, and this is where you're going to make your video. So I put my video here. I'm going to go to open. I don't know why I did it again. There we go. Okay, so it's got my video here. It's looking good. Okay, so I am going to click on submit. And then usually it takes a couple minutes, but it will eventually show up as basically the same thing as an embedded video. So that's totally fine. So I'm actually going to cancel this for now because I don't want it to want to show you a different way as well. Okay, so you are going to post your reply. I am going to cancel. Okay. And then your other option is if you have uploaded it to YouTube, then you're going to go to reply, same thing, get rid of that. And then we are going to get the embed code. So if you have your YouTube video here, then the way to get the embed code is we're going to go to share. And then it gives you a bunch of different options and a link. We're going to not use any of those. Instead, we're going to click here on embed, where we are going to copy this embed code. We're going to bring it back. Oh, it's really trying to get this video. Okay, get rid of that. And then we are going to switch to HTML down here. And it's going to look like this. It's kind of gray. There's not going to be any other options. So that's how you know that you're in HTML. And then you are going to paste the embed code. And then when you switch it back, so you're going to press on that same button to switch back to the regular options, it's going to be embedded. So those are your two options for embedding your videos once they're done. So either MP4 version on your computer, or if you want to upload it to YouTube, use the embed code.